Chapter 19 of The Ghosts of Tupelo Landing, Mr. Red's Secret. After Saturday morning's breakfast rush, Dale and I climbed the crooked cinder block steps to Red Baker's front door. "Stay sharp," I whispered as the door squeaked open. "Hey," Harm said, "come on in." I stepped inside and blinked, waiting for my eyes to adjust to the dim light. The small, stuffy room smelled faintly of broccoli, or worse. A gas heater sat in one corner. A fake leather couch, the color of tired bologna, hunkered in one wall against one wall, and a broke-down lazy boy slumped beside it. "Nice place," Dale lied. "Not really, but have a seat anyway," Harm said, nodding to the sofa. I pushed a jacket out of the way and sat, ignoring the duct tape on the arm. Dale settled beside me. Harm slung himself into the lazy boy, turned sideways, and draped his long legs over the arm. "I forgot to ask you if you wanted something to drink," he said, looking startled. Dale grinned. "What's so funny?" "You're working on social skills." He raised one eyebrow. "Girls?" he guessed. Harm shrugged. "Flick says they like manners. I got iced tea. I'd offer you something to eat, but..." "Four-cornered nabs would look nice on a plate," Dale suggested. A few minutes later, I brushed orange nabs crumbs off my shirt front. "We brought something," I said, opening my messenger bag. I handed him the photo from the library. "We found this in the inn." "Who is it?" "Sparrow Girl is Grandmother Miss Lacey," I said. "She's pretty in a birdie way," he said. "And the scowling one's Mert Little, the mayor's mom." Harm barked out a laugh. "Fess's interview? She looks even meaner than Red." Dale nodded happily. "Fess is doomed." Harm squinted at the photo. "Who's the guy?" "That's what we wanted to show you," I said. I waited for him to look at me. A trick Miss Lana taught me. "That's Red Baker." "Get out of here." He turned a tiny knob on the lamp and clicked a switch. The lamp flared on as he shoved a pile of clutter off the table. Old newspapers, a compass, a set of keys. He held the photo to the light. "If you like that photo, try this," I said. I handed him Grandmother Lacey's photo of Mr. Red standing still. Harm's mouth fell open. "Spittin' image," Dale said, leaning back and lacing his fingers behind his head. Harm snorted. "If I ever had any doubt." "Doubt about what?" Red Baker demanded, clomping in from the hall. He stopped dead as his eyes settled on me. "What the Sam Hill are you doing in my house?" "I invited them," Harm said, jumping up. "Look." He held out the photo. "We could be twins out of time." Mr. Red rubbed his whiskery face. "If that's so, you haven't got much to look forward to in your old age." "A joke? From Mr. Red?" "Here's another one," Harm said, handing him the library photo. Mr. Red tilted it toward the light. "Where'd you get this?" "The inn," I said. "Grandmother Miss Lacey says it's her and Mert Little and you, and somebody running out of the photo. She didn't know who." "That's the old Duesenberg in the background," Dale said. Red Baker swiped the side of his face. "Lacey's daddy must have taken this photo. He stuck that car in every photo he took. Loved it like a baby." He handed the photo back. "How much longer are you going to be?" he asked, staring at me. "Harm's got things to do." "They just got here," Harm said. "We're doing homework, which reminds me. I was hoping I could interview you about our family history for school. It's half my history grade." "It would mean a lot to me." Mr. Red plucked his keys from the table. "My history's none of your business." "Well, it's my history too," Harm said. "There's the evidence right there," he said, pointing to the photo and smiling. Mr. Red glared, and Harm's smile slipped. "Don't fritter away the day," Mr. Red said, and stomped out the door. "That went well," Harm muttered as the door slapped shut. I slipped the photos into my pack and squinted at the lamp. "That lamp hasn't got an electrical cord," I said, and looked around the room. "Nothing does. Is it all battery?" "The house runs on methane," he said. "Red ran a gas line from the pig house." Dale sat forward. "Pig house? That's a famous moonshiner's trick. putting your still in a pig house so nobody smells it. Have you looked in there?" Harm nodded and pushed his hair from his eyes. "It's state of the art, I'll say that for him. He treats the waste so that it doesn't stink. But no still, I can show you." An invitation to a pig parlor? My life has come to this? "Another time, maybe," I replied as Mr. Red slammed his truck door. I looked out the window. "How long before he comes back?" Harm shrugged. "Your guess is as good as mine." I looked at Dale. "We should come back when Mr. Red's not in and out." "But we haven't seen Harm's room yet," Dale said. He lowered his voice. "You're supposed to show first-time visitors around," he told Harm. "It's a social skill." Harm shot me a shifty look. "It's not exactly girl-ready." "That's not a girl," Dale said. "That's Mo." I grated, but a good detective can use anything for cover, even an annoyance of this magnitude. I drew myself to full height. "I have no interest in Harm's armpit of a room," I said, "but you go ahead, Dale. I'll wait." Harm unfolded himself from the crippled lazy boy. "Come on, then. Make yourself at home, Mo. Look around if you want to." As Harm's door closed behind them, Mr. Red cranked his truck and rattled away. I'll never get a better chance, I thought. I wandered down the hall and pushed open a half-closed door. Mr. Red's room. An uneven curtain hung across the window. The bed gaped half-made. A ladder-back chair faced a desk cluttered with pliers, wire, dirty socks. Gross. As I turned to leave, something in the corner caught my eye. Blueprints. I carried them to the desk and unrolled them. The 1938 drawing of the Tupelo Inn. But what were those? Penciled-in numbers spidered across the blueprint. 4/238, 5/119, 12/142, 4/84. Some had been crossed out. "Fractions?" I murmured. Laughter burst from Harm's room. I tucked the blueprints under my arm and headed down the hall, stopping to peek in a bathroom half the size of mine with a floor twice as slanty. The bare pipe sink wore a faded yellow gingham skirt and the tub a rust-colored ring. I wandered past Harm's room to the kitchen, past a sink piled with dishes, onto a screened-in back porch. An ancient washing machine stood at the far end of the porch, a shelf of dirty quart jars stretching above it. "Right," I heard Dale say, tramping down the hall. "What happened to Mo?" I whirled to face them. "What's going on?" Harm asked. "Just making myself at home, like you said." I spread the old blueprints over the top of the washer. "Any idea what these mean?" Harm and Dale crowded close. I pointed out the numbers. "Fractions, maybe," Harm guessed. "But what do fractions have to do with the Tupelo Inn?" "And why are some crossed out?" Dale asked, standing on his tiptoes to scan the farthest numbers. "I found these by Mr. Reb's bureau, his dresser," I said, looking at Harm. "Keep an eye on them if you can. If he marks out more numbers, let us know which ones and when." He nodded. "I'll put them back for you," he said. I gazed across the backyard, past the sagging wash line, past the shovels and swing blade leaning in the shed. "Nice chickens," I told him, nodding toward the Reds, scratching up the yard. "How many you got?" "About 10 too many," he said, but he smiled when he said it. And his smile wasn't half bad.